Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cheyenne and I bring you new tutorials every week that you can do on and off the pole and do it in studio or at home. Today, I am going to take you through a tutorial on how to sit on the pole. Now there's a couple things to be mindful of. The first thing is you want to make sure that you have tiny shorts on. If your shorts are slightly longer, bring them up because you're going to need that inner thigh up close to your groin area. The other thing to be mindful of is if you haven't done any sits before, this hurts and it can result in bruising. It does get easier over time and the bruising does go away, but just be prepared for that. If you have sensitive skin, your pre-warning, that is it, it hurts. But I'm going to take you through how to do your sit. We're going to, like I said, start down nice and low. Then we're going to take it up high. If you haven't watched the climb tutorial just yet, I will link that down below. Go and watch that first because you will need that to go from the climb into the sit. I will teach you both down low and into that climb position. But let's get started. We're going to start down low, like I said, and the first thing that you want to do is make sure that your tummy is pressed up against the pole. If you are going to go into your sit, you don't want your tummy away, especially when we do the leg crossover version, because you could smack your cookie on the pole, and that is not a good time. So let's start down low. Again, this is if you've just started out, never done a climb before. What you're going to do, bring your tummy up against the pole. I'm going to do a right-sided sit first. When you go to do your left side, you just reverse everything and it'll be left leg on top. To start off with, tummy pressed, I'm going to bring my left leg forward and come into a little squat. Place the foot down onto the ground, holding the pole just under your chin, elbows tucked, and pulling the pole down into the ground to create tension. From here, I'm going to bring my right leg over the top, squeezing my thighs, and I'm going to bring my chest to the side of the pole. So my right side of the chest is the section that's closest to the pole. From there, hold onto the pole, and you're going to extend the bottom leg. Then from there, extend your top leg, squeezing your thighs together. You're probably going to fall out of it at that point, especially if it's your first time doing it, because it can be quite painful. But let's go back over some more cues for that. The pain does get easier, but for now, it probably is going to hurt. So when I go into the sit, first thing is, make sure the legs are pointed down more in a diagonal position. This is going to be easier to hold a lock in between the thighs. The other thing to be mindful of is that each person's thighs are a completely different shape. So the way you do things might be different to how I do things, but I'm going to take you through some different cues. For me personally, I'm able to cross over, tilt my hips, and my ankles cross, knee and ankle, but that doesn't work for everyone. So if you have slightly smaller thighs, you don't have much inner thigh, you might have a thigh gap. What you need to do is you're going to cross over a little bit higher. That might mean that there's a little bit of a gap between the bottom part of your legs, so where your ankles are, because you want to focus on the squeeze. Once you get more confident, you then may be able to extend and twist more. But if you are finding when you are just starting out learning the sit that you're slipping down, focus on crossing more up on the upper thigh area and squeeze really hard. Now, if you have slightly larger legs, that might mean sits are going to be great for you because you're going to have more thigh on the pole, but it may mean that you may not be able to cross over as much. So what you want to focus on is a stronger hip tilt, and really you can cross at the ankle and squeeze the thighs together. So whilst I'm standing, I'm pressing those thighs in, engaging my legs from the hip down. So again, work with a sit that works for you. Smaller legs, you may need to cross over a little bit higher. Again, for my body type, if you're similar, I'm just crossing over at ankle, squeezing thighs together. But if you have slightly bigger thighs, then you might not be able to cross over as much. You will cross more through the ankle and squeeze knees and thighs together. So when you go into your sit, do something that works for you, test out the different ways. So let's go back into that sit and I'll take you through some more cues. So leg down, leg over the top. Now what we want to remember, when I bring my chest to the side, you want to lift the hip up. This here allows a lock with your thighs. If when you're going into your sit and you keep your hips and thighs neutral, then you're going to most likely slip down the pole. When you go into the sit, lift the hip up, and that creates a lock in between the thighs. I don't know if you were younger, but remember when, or at least I did it, you did the Chinese burn on the arm. That's essentially what happens in your thighs. That's why it hurts so much, but it's that lock in between the thigh. It's that same feeling and it creates that same twist and tension, which is what we want for pole. Again, it does get easier, but it's that sensation. So, leg forward, so left leg forward, I'm doing right side, right leg over the top, and I'm going to bring my chest to the side and lift my hip up. Extend the bottom leg, extend the top leg, squeeze your thighs and tilt a little bit more. Like I said, go center, you slip. So bring hips and chest to side, legs on that diagonal. Again, if you are a little bit, less thigh, then you are going to cross over more at the knee, which I can't physically do. Or if you have a little bit more thigh, again, sits will be great for you, but it may mean that you cross a little bit less through the knee and more at the ankle, but squeeze the thighs together. So that there is your sit, your very first start of your sit. When you get more comfortable with it, and with the pain, you want to be able to come over into your sit with the legs coming around and over. There's two preferences for this. It's up to you which one you want to do. You can go one leg bent, one leg straight, or both legs straight. So when we go into that sit position, keep your tummy pressed up against pole. Again, if you come over and cross when your tummy's back here, you smack your cookie on the pole and it's not a good feeling. So keep up nice and close. Hands are going to be in this position. You can also go into this position if you find this is challenging. So I do have a tutorial coming with the climb, sit and layout, and I do go over the differences between these, but first start here or here. Do what works for you, but just make sure you're creating tension on the pole by pulling down into the ground with both hands. So what will happen from here, I'm going to bring my legs over. Because I'm doing a right-sided climb, my right hand is on top. That means my right leg needs to go over the top and my right hip lifts. If I were to do both legs straight, I always mention this, but when you point your toes, lock from the hip all the way down, engaging the whole leg and extending so that this doesn't get lazy. Lock and squeeze. If you're doing both legs, you've got to do that with both of your legs. Now, if you're doing one leg will come in a bent position, still keep it strong. Don't let it go sloppy, engage. The other leg will then come in straight, and I'll show you how to extend from both. First one, we're already in an extended position. I'll pull the pole down. I'm going to cross over, hip tilt, chest to the side. That hip tilt, super important, legs to diagonal. Don't lift the legs up because you can start to slip. Chest forward, legs down. Now, if I'm going to go one leg bent, one leg straight, pull the pole down into the ground. I'll change my grip position for you as well. Bend one knee in, one leg over straight. The straight leg should be your top leg, and that will be my right one. So I come over. Oh, nope. I went to go straight leg. Bend the left leg and then right leg straight. So here, then extend underneath Again, hip tilt and lock. When you do one leg bent, one leg straight, you may go a little bit closer to the thigh. It's a little bit of a different burn, but it may be easier for you. So let's add that from the climb now. Again, make sure you've watched that climb tutorial. I will show you two ways, which is arms in this position or this position. You can do what feels right for you. So into my climb, first one, both legs straight, keep the tummy close and pressed, pull the pole down to the ground and cross, hip tilt, okay? Hand down and out. If you have the strength, chest forward, both hands can come off or cross over, personal preference. Now if I'm going to do with my one hand high, one leg bent, one leg straight, same thing with your climb, hand underneath, reach up, chest close. One leg straight, one leg bent. From here, extend out, hip tilt again. And that there is your climb tutorial. No, it's not, it's your sit tutorial. Did you keep recording that? Okay, that's fine, we can keep that in there. Enjoy, it was a sit tutorial. Climb and sit, amazing.